Grand Rising. Know thyself. That is very important right now. You know, we know that the Most High talked about in Jacob chapter 5 that the Most High was going to remove the other nations that are producing bad fruit. But it goes hand in hand with us growing. The Most High's chosen people need to grow. So it's very important that we figure out how it is that we need to grow. The other nations, as you can see, are not working any way trying to have us grow. They are just trying to just push fear, fear, fear. It's just, how is it possible that forever they've been talking about Iran and Israel going to war, and Iran just constantly lets Israel attack them, kill them, assassinate people of power. And supposedly Iran has these, weapons that are so advanced and it can just, can't be stopped. And these, hypersonic missiles that they can't stop, they can't shoot down. And in fact, Israel is a few days from running out of missiles. And then they want to go ahead and make a peace agreement. Does that make any sense at all? Iran has supposedly been preparing for a war with Israel and America for 40, 50 years. And when they finally have Israel to the point where they're about to run out of missiles and they can just destroy them utterly, they decide to stop with a ceasefire. Does that make any sense whatsoever? If you're supposedly these mortal enemies that hate one another, and you have your enemy on the ropes, and he's been doing all these horrible things to you for decades, and he's been killing all the Palestinians, your brothers, for decades, and you have them on the ropes, and you just stop, and you just make a ceasefire, that shows me there that you are on the same team. Just like when you call each other before you send missiles so that you can, move all your stuff and move all your people as to minimize casualties. That's not a war. That's not a war whatsoever. That's just you guys playing around. You guys faking the funk. And that's exactly what you guys have been doing. But very soon you will not be able to do that anymore, because we are wise to your games. And we know that it's important for us to know ourselves, to actually go back to how things were before you were on the lands. You were not, in any position to lead us here, lead us there, to put us in fear, to make us pay attention to your games or pay attention to your stories. We spent time with the Father. We spent time with the Mother. We spent time with our ancestors, which is what we are moving back to now. We were going to work to accelerate the removal of our enemies off of our lands. That is what we are going to do. We are going to concentrate on ourselves, concentrate on our relationship with our Father, with our Mother. We are going to divine things. We are going to ask them things. We're going to ask the source to help us. We deal with the divine. We deal with the celestial. You do not. So the more time that we spend with ourselves and our power and our source, the quicker you will be removed from our lands. So which entail is going to mean that you are going to then need to make bigger and bigger events in order to try to take our eyes off the Father, which you're not going to be able to do to the truly anointed ones, to the truly elected ones to be here at this time. So it's just a point for us to concentrate, make sure that we spend a lot of time with the Sun. The S-U-N. The Sun is changing us. The Sun is elevating us. The Sun is elevating our DNA. It is working to open up our pineal glands once again, opening up our third eyes again. You will not be able to stop us by accusing us of being evil, because you are evil. You're not going to be able to use, your words to deter us from us chasing after our Father and our ways. Understand this. Okay, so that but we know that July 7th is a big time right now. Again, with Uranus moving into Gemini, talking about the change of the scales, change of the laws, change of circumstance, until different. The until different is here now. That's what your Papal Bulls was saying. We're going to be in slavery until different. Now it is your turn. And that is why it's very important for us to make sure that we are chasing after our Father, chasing after our ways, not being deterred by the other nations. You other nations never had a covenant with the Most High. The Most High sent, spirits to lead you astray. So as you're being moved astray, and you're being moved away from us and the Most High, you have to make more and more noise in order for us to stop looking this way at our Father and look this way at you. That's why you have to make more and more noise. You are moving now into, this time period with Uranus being in Gemini and a change again of the scales. And that happened again when they said World War II. That's when the same, event in the celestial kingdom happened. World War II, right? The Civil War and the Revolutionary War. That's when I want to say is Uranus is moving into Gemini. The change of scales, change of circumstances. We're moving into that again right now. And again, the Revolutionary War, you guys took advantage of this, of these planetary conjunctions. You took advantage of that in 1776. You were aware of those types of things, again, because of our people. You took advantage of those things. But this is why it's important for us to know ourselves, because now we know that those alignments are for us now. They were for you because we were still going through our curses before in 1776, during the Civil War and during World War II. But now everything is moving back to us. This is why it's important for us to know ourselves, because now that we know ourselves again, being awakened in the lands of our captivity, and those lands, it was said you are not the people. In those same lands, it's going to be said that you are the sons and daughters of the living power. That is where we are right now. That is why we are concentrating on our power. That is why we are not scared to actually do things that you say are evil. How can evil tell us what we should and shouldn't be doing? Because you are evil. You do not believe in justice. But that is why these scales are changing now, because you've been given the opportunity to do the right thing. We were put in your hands, the 70 shepherds, right? We were put in your hands, and you still, did not do us right. You still disobeyed the Most High when He said you need to only kill this amount, and you killed way more, right? You're the ones that are responsible for that. But you're going to tell us that what we are doing by chasing after our Father is evil? I'm sure the Pharaoh tried to do exactly the same thing, about trying to say it was evil for us to leave the Pharaoh and go and worship our power. But we are not like you. We have a different covenant. You do not have the covenant that we have. So therefore, what we do has nothing to do with you whatsoever. Because you do not, you are not our power. You do not tell us what to do. You do not give us direction. You don't have direction. You actually live your life without a compass. But we do have a compass. We do have a power. We are the Most High's people, and He is calling us home again. And you want to say that we're evil for trying to go back and serve our power. You say that it's evil for us to know ourselves. See, we have to get instruction from the source. We only get our understanding from the source. You don't have a source, so therefore you cannot do what we do, and you cannot go where we go. And you just, saying that what we're doing is evil is because you are not allowed to go where we go. Much love, family. Shalom.